Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm starting to record. So after chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're jumping to 11. What I want to do today is starting to prepare you all to the midterm and how to set up a new company. So we're jumping from 1, 2, 3, and 4 to chapter 11. And it's called Setup of a New Company. There's two ways of setting up a new company. One is called Express Start. So today we're going to work with Express Start. Second one is called the interview, a little bit more longer, and there's a reason why to do it in the longer way, because the setup of a regular Express Start is for a service company. If you're using a product company, when you need inventory, you will go with the interview and the longer way. So today we're going to discuss the Express Start. It's usually the initial screen of QuickBooks. And I'm starting to prepare you for the midterm. So you'll see what the midterm looks like and what I expect from you. So everybody should be able to do it, regardless if it's on QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, because it's all new company. So, and a little bit I'll be touching on the subject of adjusting entries. So this is chapter 11 overview. Set up a new company, customize a chart of accounts. That's a review of chapter 2. Create lists like customer list, vendor list. We don't really need them yet, but definitely record transaction, like write checks, make deposits, prepare a trial balance, and we're going to go to the financial statements, reports. So profit and loss, balance sheet, and things like that. So we're going to do the complete easy step interview is the longer one. That's really chapter 11. We will do Express Start today. So this is the second one, easy step interview, that I would want you to practice later on with the book, but not today. Add people you do business with, add product or services you sell, of course, add the bank account, and we're going to enter information and customize chart of accounts. So that's the beginning of chapter 11. So how do we start a new company? So usually when we open up, we will have our companies that we usually use. Sample Rock Castle, which is sample product, or sample service. Those two you would see on your computer because you worked, if you did, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're stopping to use them and we go over here to create a new company. And the rest will be questions on Express Start, what type of a company it is. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen now, in a different way. Hi, everybody. Okay, so when I pressed File New Company, I'm resuming, and this is my Express Start. So everybody should get to, usually this is your initial screen. I want to make sure that everybody can see it. Okay, so I'm going to press Express Start. And business name would be, again, I'm sharing the screen that we are doing right now. So in Microsoft Word, I gave it to you. This is called the review for the midterm, that it's on course documents. Your name and Mike. So let's say I'm going to do Mike and Ike Consultants. Okay, just an example. An address, and I have text ID, and I know it's partnership. So I'm going to take that example. So I'm writing Mike and Ike Consulting. Okay, so now that we have the company in, we go to the industry. The two that the book is always saying that you definitely know is general service or general product. By just telling you that this is a consulting company, you know for sure that we're doing general service. Okay, if you found a better industry, let's say you want to do accounting. So you could choose accounting. But since we're following my example and I gave you general service, so we're going to go with general service. It's definitely not a product. Business type. So the example today is not sole proprietorship. We're going to go to partnership or LLP. So we're choosing the second one. Okay, and also you could have chosen multi-member LLC Form 1065. Okay, so that's another choice. Either one is correct. So it's partnership or LLP or 1065. Employer identification number must be 11 digits. No, 9 digits. If you missed something, it will not save it. It will say that. You can see that this is his two styles that he would take. He would take Social Security here or employer identification number. I don't know if it's working. Probably not. Okay, here it's telling you that it has to be Social Security number or employer identification number. The rule of 9, it has to be 2 digits and then 7 more. That's the 2 that accepted. Okay, I'm just putting a fake address, doesn't matter. And we're going to New York, New York. Any questions so far? Okay, so now we finished all this information and we can create the company. So this is called the Express Start. Now you're not going to use this screen, Express Start, unless you're doing service. And sometimes you will not be able to do this if you need business name and also doing business as. So if you need another name doing business as, you will have to choose the long way, the interview, the longer one. This is the Express Start is when one company name, I don't have any other, and I'm definitely doing service only. Okay, so that's the 2 pieces of information. Okay, I hope everybody hears me. Okay, so now we're going to create company. So that's a new company, Mike and I, consulting company, create the company. So it goes from 10 to 100 pretty fast and it creates a company for you. What it's doing right now is actually copying a sample service chart of accounts, but it's not giving me all the chart of accounts. It's really giving me only income and expenses. Okay, so it's not really doing that much. A lot of it you'll be typing on your own. So we're waiting for it to open. And this is the next couple of steps that we're setting up. You can use QuickBooks Online to do this because you're setting up a new company. So the basic information for sure, or if you can do it and other people want to use QuickBooks Online right now, you can use the test drive and just wait for us and make new account in the chart of accounts. And then use 2023 as the year. So whenever you're using the test drive and you're using the future, you will get a perfect profit and loss. Okay, I'll explain it differently, but right now, anybody who wants to use QuickBooks Online, it will look different, but yes, definitely you could set it up. Okay, so we talked about that. This is the first step. Add people you do business with, add products or services you sell, add a bank account. So we're clicking on add people you do business with. And you could bring information from Outlook, from Yahoo, and also from Gmail, but we're going to do it ourselves. So I just want you to press continue. And the information you could bring is customers, vendors, or employees. Okay, so let's look back at my paper. Okay, so here's the information. It's the partnership. And we're gonna look ahead and see what you might use in the future. So you have chart of accounts here. Chart of accounts, and later we're gonna do some checks. Okay, so we have a choice of later use quick add vendor. Okay, use quick add vendor to enter them. But if I do know that these in yellow will be written as a check, I can write Flamingo Realty, Verizon as, vendors. So if I chose to do it, I could do it right now. Let's go back to QuickBooks. So over here, I'm going to write name, Verizon, and its name and company name is the same. Next one, and they're both vendor. I'm choosing two vendors. Flamingo Realty. Flamingo Realty. Let's say I want one customer. An example of customer will be cash customer. It's basically like a drawer that any cash customer would go in there. I don't know the cash customer that will come in, so just a general name. So I did 2 bullets, 2 radio button of vendor and 1 for customer. So I have a total of 3. If this was from previous year, if I was in business last year, when I press continue, you will have the ability of enter opening balance. Hi. Okay, so what is opening balance? An example would be if these 2 people were accounts payable already, so you have Verizon and Flamingo Realty, you'll have to say how much we have an opening balance. So this is if it's a second year, so it means this information is coming from the balance sheet. But for us, this is a new company, we're just opening it up, so we don't have anything as accounts payable or accounts receivable. So I'm gonna press cancel. So we just entered those 3 and we're gonna press continue. Okay, so now we have add products and services you sell. Usually we don't need it yet, but the example would be if it's a service, is the service per hour. Let's say I'll say consulting, hourly rate for consulting. Consulting, and I would put, let's say $75, an example, and I can put more and more in here. So that will save us time later on the invoice, but we're not doing invoices. So we're gonna continue and continue. And now comes the most important part, is a bank account. So if you were in business before, you would have information about your bank account from last year. And then you initially starting point is how much you had at the end of the year. So let's look at our Word document again. Okay, so originally, this is saying the year is 2020. And as of 12/31/2019, we had $20,000 in the bank. Name of the account is regular checking account, and it's 20,000. So this is our bank account. This is your first information. So I need 20,000 to put in the bank. Okay, so we're going over here and say regular checking account. Account number doesn't matter, but this is not your chart of account numbers. This is the real account number at the bank. And here we need 20,000. And a date, December 31st, 2019. So 2019 will give us the date of the balance sheet of last year. That's the date of last year. And at the beginning of 1/1/2020. If I want another bank account, I'll just write here, let's say a savings account. And you don't have to put any value. You could just leave it blank. Okay, do you want to order checks? No, thanks, not really. So I finished with creating all 3 of these. And now I'm gonna start working. So start working will lead us to the chart of accounts and to continue working on setting up the company. Okay, so that's your express start. First, we're looking at the type of the company on the top, Mike and Ike Consulting. You see it on the top. That's the new company we just set up. And we don't need any of these pop-ups, so a lot of pop-ups come up. Close the accountant center. Okay, whatever you don't need, just close. And this is your home screen. I prefer to do view, top icon bar, so it moves to the side. And you would have here regular checking 20,000 right away. That's your account balance. Okay, so we know that this is your home screen. And we're going to the chart of accounts. Okay, so something that we don't need. I have only enter bills and pay bills, which is okay because it's a service company. I'm not buying inventory. So whatever you're used to from Rockcastle, it's not there and it's fine. Payroll is not really activated. We're acting like we don't have payroll. Your job would be to create chart of accounts. Then you go to record deposit, write checks, bank reconciliation, only these 4 technically. And then you're done with this whole example. So this is to prepare you for the midterm when you're doing a new company. So first is express start, we start a new company, and then I'll give you information to go to the chart of accounts. Okay, so maximize the chart of accounts. And it's straightforward, it's not from, it's directly from the paper. It says add the following accounts. So I'm already at the second one. If you want account numbers, you see right here, add account numbers. You will have to remember that from chapter 2. So let's go and add that. Okay, so we go over here, edit and menu, preferences. Okay, before I'm doing it, I want you to understand what I'm doing. You see there's no account numbers. This is regular QuickBooks without account numbers. So I'm gonna add account numbers by going to edit, preferences, accounting. So on the top, it should say accounting. Company preference, use account numbers. You will know that you got stuck because my preference is nothing to do. So company preference, use account numbers. Take off the warnings because we're working on 2020, the beginning, and it's more than 90 days in the past. So take it off. So I just added a check mark here, took off the warnings, and then I say, okay. Some accounts I got numbers, some accounts I didn't. So some accounts we don't really need. We're gonna work one by one. Okay, so regular checking account, I'm gonna edit. And I'll give it the account number. So now I got this special box right here that was not there before. So here I'm going to write exactly what they gave us. And it's 10,000. Okay, so this is not from my head, it's from the paper. I'm gonna write 10,000, regular checking account. And it's gonna be hopefully on the top. I don't know why it's not staying up. Okay, so here's savings account. Example, I'm doing edit and I want it to be a different number. So it's maybe 10,100. I just cannot repeat 10,000 because I used it for regular checking. Now, do we need inventory assets? This is a service company. The name is up here, consulting. Do you think we need inventory assets? Anybody wants to say that? What do you think? As a consultant, you have pen, pencils, whatever. Is that inventory?
No, we don't need inventory.
No, we don't need inventory. Excellent. So inventory asset, you're going to completely delete. So you could do control and the letter D for delete. Are you sure? You say okay. Or right mouse click and choose delete account. Are you sure? You say okay. Another example that's something we don't need, it's connected to, exactly connected to inventory, is cost of goods sold. Do we need it?
No, we don't need it.
Exactly. So control D again and delete it. I try not to have extra. Sales income, I might need, but it's not going to be called sales income. So let's edit. We will call it consulting income. not sales, I'm doing consulting. So consulting income. And it might be 41,000. I didn't really look, but I know that all my income has to start with a 4. So 41,000 sounds good. And just cannot repeat. You see, you have sales over here. Sales I don't like, so I can even delete it completely. We're not having a sale. Consulting income sounds better. Okay, so now I have my basic accounts. And I can see that it's done right because I have partner 1 drawing and partner 1 equity. Partner 2 drawing and partner 2 equity. So that shows me right away that I set it up as a partnership. If it said over here, just common stock and return earning, you know you chose corporation. If it says over here somebody's name, owner's equity, then it's a sole proprietorship. So looking at the 3s will tell you a lot about the company. Okay. The second part. Okay, so anybody who's going to do QuickBooks Online, I'll do another session, but I can't really mix them up together. So I'll do the same information in QuickBooks Online in a different session. Maybe next week on Monday. I'll see if I could do another one today, but I'm not sure. So I'll try to do it next Monday. So QuickBooks Online, all this will be on QuickBooks Online and another example. So right now, all I'm going to show you is that you have 20,000 regular checking and opening balance equity is 20,000. It's the same asset that belongs to me, technically went to equity. So the cash is equal to equity based on assets equal liability plus equity. So when we have 20,000 assets, of course I have 20,000 in equity. So it could have been partner 1 equity 10,000 and partner 2, each one gave 10,000. But I have to work with my paper. So let's go back and see what happened over there. Okay, so we have other assets that we need to type, like prepaid advertising. And we have fixed assets, computer equipment cost. They spent 5,000. And then we have accumulate from last year that's already deteriorated and a lost value of 500. And then they have a loan of short-term notes payable of 17,000. And then comes the 2 equities. Partner 1 gave only 5,000 and partner 2 gave 5,000. So Mike and Ike. So Michael is, example here is Michael Bear and his name is Michael Bear and he gave 5,000. And the second one, Ike, is you or Ike. So it's gonna be 5,000. So that's the information we have. But as we're working, you will notice that these numbers increasing. So when I add 2,500 right here, prepared advertising, you will see that it's going to go up. We're going to go into prepare advertising, regular checking. Now I need another one. So first of all, I don't have the number 11,500, so no problem. Account new. I'm starting with other current assets. So if I don't see them in the group on top, I have to look for them down here. So it's other current assets. Prepaid expenses is the first one there. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. Hi, how are you? Okay, hello. Okay, so now we are gonna go with other current assets, continue. We said that prepaid and we read it there that it says prepaid advertising, so it belongs here. It's a current asset. Description in the prepaid, not a must, but if you want to write it, it's prepaid advertising. Here I could have wrote maybe 3 months paid in advance. And we're gonna go over here, enter opening balance. You only have this enter opening balance if it's an assets, liability, or equity, only permanent account. So I'm bringing this information from last year. The answer was 2,500. Okay, so let's say 2,500 as of December 31, 2019. Okay, let me make it 2 months, let's say, not 3 months. Okay, so information is $1,250 a month. I'll have to move it later to advertising expense. So that's information for myself. So 2,500 for 2 months, and I'm saving. So you'll see that, oh, I didn't put an account number. So let's do it again. Control E for edit, and account number, because this is covering, I forgot it. 11,500 right here. Any questions so far? Okay, look at the information. 20,000 we have in checking account, and we have 2,500 in prepaid. Value went up in equity, 22,500. 2 assets equal to equity. As we typing, it's going to continue like that. Okay, so I'm not making this. I have it all on this paper. So I just did first account, second account. Now I'm going to review main account, sub account. The main account never gets a value. Computer equipment is the main account. Computer equipment cost gets the value. Okay, so the account number is 15,100.
I have a question, Professor.
Yes.
In regards to the chart of accounts, as you were deleting the ones that you didn't need, is that going to be also part of the exam on deleting those that are not necessary?
No.
Okay.
Okay, extra doesn't hurt, doesn't matter. It's just easier for me to see the accounts that I need and to work with them, but if you didn't delete it, no problem.
Okay, thank
And we're
you.
gonna add another one. So this time it's a fixed asset. What is a fixed asset? A major purchase, like building, land, machinery, and equipment, and vehicles. So an example for us was equipment. Computer equipment is an equipment, it's definitely fixed asset. We plan to use it for 2 to 3 years. So we will do it as a fixed asset.
Professor,
Account
when is the
number.
exam?
The exam will probably be around October 12th. I will tell you, we're gonna practice and practice a few times until I feel that you're ready. Okay, so 15,100. And that's the reason that I really don't want you to constantly look at the dates, the due dates that I'm changing because some people didn't get a book. You will be really tested on chapter 1 through 4. So if you didn't get around to do connect chapter 1 through 4, it's your fault. That's the subject that should be on the midterm. And by doing what I'm doing today, you will understand what's going to be on the exam. So 15,100, that's the account number. And I'm writing computer equipment. This is the main account. Okay, so you're not late, but I really want you to work timely manner. Excuse me, I think I'm getting sick. So computer equipment, I'm just copying it for myself. And notice I'm not going to enter opening balance because this is the main account. So I'm doing new. The next number is 15,200. I'm not repeating the same number. It has to be unique. And I'm adding the word computer equipment cost, which is a sub-account of computer equipment. So you see it's a sub-account of computer equipment. In here, I can write down that this is 2 laptops, 2,500 each. I'm just giving an example. I'm sure maybe it was an old laptop, but it was expensive. So I'm entering 5,000 value as of December 31, 2019. I'm reading this before I save. So this is your computer equipment cost. Save and new, or you could do save and close and I'll show you what I mean. Right now it looks like it's twice the same amount, but it's not. What I could do is take the cumulative depreciation that's there and edit the account. So instead of typing accumulated depreciation again, I'll just type the word computer. Compute sub-account of, again, the main account is computer equipment. Okay, because it's a contra asset. What does it mean, contra asset? It's losing value. Your loss of value is recorded here. Okay, not a piece. I can't say I lost a piece of the computer. So the information that I have is a minus. You have to remember that this is going to be a minus. Okay, let's read it. Okay, accumulated depreciation. Now you can see it on the screen. Account number could be 17,000, which I just did, which is edit, or 15,300, a new account number. You had the choice. And don't forget to type the minus 500 because it's a contra account. This means it's a credit instead of a debit, and it has to be done that way. So minus 500. So I'm typing here, enter opening balance, minus 500, which means to the computer, yes, you're doing an asset, but because you did minus 500, it's a credit. That's my numbers. And I'm gonna save and close. So what happens on the screen? That's the beauty of the main account sub-accounts. Main account is 5,000, but I lost value of 500. So on the screen is going to show me the calculation that computer equipment is really 4,500. That's called book value. Your book value is on the screen. And you keep track of how long you're gonna, take off 500 for every, probably every year, whatever it is. So right now I have 27,000 in opening balance equity. All the assets equal to 27,000. And I'm gonna start with liability. Okay, so let's go back to the shared paper. So the file said, type other current liability. Make sure you're reading liability and the account number is 22,000. Short-term notes payable is 17,000. Okay, so 17,000 short-term notes payable and with the account number is 22,000. So I can go back and type it. Okay, you'll notice that this will go down in a minute. So opening balance equity right now is 27,000. We'll see what happens after we type it. So we're starting new, control letter N. And we want other current liability. If you chose current asset again, you did debit instead of credit. So it's a big mistake. Setting up is making the big difference between being a bookkeeper and an accountant. An accountant set up the books. This is not accounts payable. I gave you short-term notes payable. And that's other current liability because of the word short-term. If I didn't tell you short-term, you could have taken long-term liability, like a mortgage. But I didn't. I said short-term. So the nature of short-term is always current liability. We're staying with the same style, 5 digits here, 22,000, short-term notes payable. Again, short-term notes payable. And it's not a must to do this option. You see, it says optional. So if you didn't type anything there, it's fine. As long as you started with opening balance of 17,000 as of December 31, 2019. You see, I'm not even typing the slashes. It's going to come anyway. So it's automatic. Okay, before I save, I always read 17,000 and the date. Okay, I'm very careful with my dates. 17,000, and what happened is now that you have opening balance equity, it went down to 10,000. So as we worked, we had 27,000 assets, 17,000 liability equal to 10,000 equity. So now your job is just to work on these accounts, partner 1 and partner 2. Okay, let's go back to the paper. And again, it's edit. It's not new. It says edit the new accounts. Make sure you're choosing 31,000. It's instead of partner 1, instead of partner 2. Each one gave $5,000, gave on December 31, 2019. So each one will have 5,000. Okay, so I want to point out, do not take drawings, take equity. Always equity. Drawing is a contra equity. It's opposite. The drawing means I could take out whatever I want. It's like a salary, but not set salary. Each partner can take whatever they need. So that's when he's doing a withdrawal, like at the bank when you're going to do withdrawal of your own cash. So don't use the drawing, using only the equity account. So part one, equity, I'll make sure that I'm reading that. And this will be Ike Capital. $5,000 and the date. Sorry. December 31, 2019. That's my first one. So I got iCapital. Now I'm going to partner 2. His name is Michael. Okay, if you want to write over here, his full name, Michael Bear Capital Investments. That opening balance is important, $5,000 and the date. Okay, so we just finished the whole setting up. So I have 5,000, 5,000, 17,500, 20,000, and prepaid expenses. So the report that I really created right now is your balance sheet. Not profit and loss, because if you understood anything I did so far, you realize that I didn't do any profit and loss. I didn't do sales, I didn't do expenses. I only did permanent accounts from last year. So the report that I can only get is a balance sheet. Balance sheet standard, a balance sheet detail, but definitely balance sheet. What's nice about the date I was doing, December 31, 2019, there was a reason I used that instead of 1/1/2020. I don't like to put 1/1/2020. And the reason is at the end of the year, it's like I have 2 years of reports. I will get 2 annual reports. One that says December 31, 2019, and the other one is a column of December 31, 2020. So what I accomplished is the real annual reports right away. But if you did January 1st, 2020, you will not get comparison of 2 years. So that's the benefit of this date. I'm pointing it out why it's so important to write December 31, 2019 and not January 1st, 2020, which is, it is equal the same thing, but I prefer that you will use this date, December 31, 2019. So we see assets and we see the computer equipment, the cost and the accumulate. If you don't want so much information, you just press collapse. You'll see that it's one line, says 4,500. Okay, then liability 17,000. And then you have the end. Okay, all of it over here, 17,000. And then the 2 partners, partner 1, partner 2, 5,000 each. You could have done it like me, partner 1 equity, or just write I capital, my capital. But I prefer to keep partner 1, partner 2, so it's clear. Oh yeah, next week is going to be Tuesday. Right. Thank you, Jessica. Tuesday would follow Monday schedule. So next week we're going to have Tuesday and Wednesday.
Professor, are you gonna for Monday? Are you gonna post any Zoom recordings for last Monday?
For last Monday, I gave you Zoom recording for this past Monday. That's a Zoom recording. Did you see that? It says 9:21 on the Zoom recording. It's chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was the posting from the previous one.
Okay, got that. Okay.
So if you missed it, it's the same recording. Basically the same. Even if I did it for one class, it's basically the same. Okay, so we just finished with the balance sheet. Okay, so created the balance sheet, and now we're going to continue by actually using it. So before we continue, let's share again the document that I'm working with. I finished over here. Memorize, try balance, and balance sheet. What does it mean? sometimes I want you to see that trial balance is not a balance sheet. It's not the same. Okay? It's not the same because trial balance, the whole purpose of a trial balance is to say that debits equal credit. So balance sheet that we just saw, let's look at it again. Okay, the balance sheet we just saw is 27,000. Doesn't matter the date, it's all okay. Obviously, the total assets equal to total liability and equity, and it's 27,000. A trial balance will look differently. You're going to go to accountant and taxes, and the second one says trial balance. And here we have 27,500. What's the reason? Why do we have a different amount? Why over there is 27,000 and here's 27,500? The answer is related to the debits and credits. Because you have this contra account of 500, the cumulative depreciation, so you will have a 5,000 over here equipment and minus the 500. The balance sheet shows exactly this already as a difference of 4,500, so they don't really show it the same way. Balance sheet shows 5,000 minus 500 as 4,500. That's why it's 27,000 both sides. But if you have a contra account, your trial balance will be higher than the balance sheet. Okay, so what does it mean? Memorize. Memorize is up here on the top. Click on memorize. And it goes into memorize report, trial balance. I'm gonna write the word beginning, let's say. Beginning. It sounds like a click of a camera. Even if I closed it, and I can memorize this one as well. Memorize balance sheet, my beginning. And I close them, but it will be easier for me to find it under memorize report. So memorize report, balance sheet beginning, and I can bring it anytime. Okay, didn't really date right. So I'm gonna memorize again and replace it. Better. So it's reports, memorize reports, and beginning balance sheet. You see December 31, 2019, anytime you need it. That's the benefit of memorizing. And the same thing with the other one, try balance. So I go to try balance beginning, and your answer would be 27,500. That's your debits and credits total. The dates are wrong here. So the date should have been, by the way, if you know anything about try balance, I don't care about the beginning date, I care about the ending date. Ending date is December 31, 2019. Because it's until this date. Even if I would put here, years 01/01/2020, it doesn't matter. So it's really not, I'll put 12/31/2019 twice in this example. And here I would put, let's say 2000. You'll see that it doesn't matter. It doesn't read the 12/31/2000 at all. It's only reading 12/31/2019 because it's until this date. Your general ledger until December 31, 2019. So this could be empty for all he cares. It doesn't read it at all. Okay, so only the ending is important. And since we memorized it, here. So it's report, memorize report, and try balance beginning. This is 12/31/2019. Okay, so now we're going to continue with the exercise. We finished with new accounts, and now we're doing transactions. So now it's starting to chapter 3 and 4. Write check to Flamingo Realty for $17.50 rent. For rent, it says for rent. Paid Verizon bill for telephone service for $165. Okay, so I don't want to go so much back and forth, so I want you to write it down. Check number is 101 and 102. We're going to do January 5th, 2020, and we're going to do January 8th. Okay, so go back and forth. We're going to go straight to transactions, home screen. And we're going to write checks. Okay, so now we see the word to print. Up here it says print later. I want to see that I'm taking this print later check off. Okay, this check mark from on, print later, take it off. And then I could type any check number I want, like 101. So again, print later, you remove, and then you'll be able to type the check number that I want. Okay, the date must be changed to January 5th, 2020. And first one is Flamingo Realty. So we typed it before. We're paying for rent, $17.50. So I'm putting the amount. And it has to be, what is it for? So you have to say here, rent. Okay, rent expense. QuickBooks Online, this would say rent or lease. That's really the same expense, rent or lease. If anybody working right now with the sample test, start right now. Okay, so the students were asking me about QuickBooks Online. Okay, let me show you how I do it. Let's see if I can share a new one.
Professor, I just want to
This
make
is for
sure.
QuickBooks Online, okay? Anybody who is typing this, you go test drive. You can even do this on the test drive. Say, I'm not a robot. And you can work with me right now. I know you're gonna be in a different company. It doesn't matter. I just want you to practice the checks. Okay, so if anybody's working with me, this, you're pressing plus, choosing check. And this is for the students who are doing the test drive. Payee, Flamingo Realty. Enter. Checking, for sure it's checking. But make sure you're changing the date. So for us, you will do 0101, no, 05, let's say. And make it 2021. I want it to be a year ahead from the sample. So 2021, category rent or lease, amount $17.50. Okay, like this. Okay, so you have in here, Flamingo, I don't know, I didn't save it, I guess. New and save. So it's in the memory. So I just saved the payee, Flamingo Realty, I changed the dates, and like this, continue working with the same, but the year for you is 2021. After each one, save and new. You have it here, save and new. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Verizon, checking, January 8th. Verizon, one second, Verizon. Save. Telephone expense. It should be there. If you don't have utility, maybe. Utility telephone. Yeah, okay. Telephone is sub-account of utility. And amount, 165. Okay, save and new. I'm switching back to QuickBooks regular desktop. We'll do it together. Okay, so for Realty, the check is done, $17.50. We have $20,000 at the bank. The minute I save it, we will see that it's going to go down. Again, save and new on the bottom. Next check is automatically for Verizon, 165. And it's for telephone expense. Okay, so both checks entered like that. You see it's reduced, it's 18,085. Okay, so now let's check back to my paper. Okay, so we did 1750, we did the 165. I'm in check 103, which is issued to Con Edison, 185, which is utility expense, electric, January 9. So the amount is 185. And then the next one is a split. What is a split? You have interest expense and you also have short-term notes payable. So 1,000 you pay for short-term notes payable and 125 you pay interest on the note. That's interest expense. Make a check payable to Citibank and the total is 1125. It's one check. Okay, so I'm teaching split again.
Professor,
Yes.
and this is a quick question. I had a class until 45, so I joined late. So, are you reviewing about like the midterm right now?
This is like the midterm. Yes, I'm reviewing for the midterm. I'm showing you, we're going to practice like this, a few new companies. So everybody will be comfortable to do a new company for the midterm.
Okay. So, are you gonna do that again next week?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit different. Today I'm teaching partnership, 2 owners, and that was a partnership. Next time I might do sole proprietorship.
Okay. And how does the midterm is gonna be? Where does it's gonna be on like
Like this,
Connect?
exactly like this, and the answer is on Connect.
Oh, so I put the answers on Connect. Okay. Okay, got
Yes.
it.
Like you do homework and then Connect. Okay,
Okay,
check 103.
thank you.
Paying for Con Edison, so I'm paying Con Edison right here. Because we didn't enter it before, this is called Quick Add Vendor. What does it mean? I press Quick Add right here, and it remembers it as a vendor right away. All I have to do is change the amount to 185. I think the date was the 9th. And it's utilities. It's okay to leave it as utilities. It's even better if you did sub-account and you called it electric. But if you didn't do it, it's also fine. Electric. And I set up an expense, continue, sub-account 68610, let's say. I'm coming up with a number that's not there because I see 68,600 here, so 68,610 here. Notice that you don't have opening balance because this is an expense. Okay, so we have the 185 and save and new. And last one is a split. So I'm writing Citibank, Quick Add Vendor, and I'm using 2 accounts on the bottom. One is 1,000 and right under it, 125. Check total will be 1125. Okay, so the information was that you're paying short-term notes payable. So we start with short-term notes payable and interest expense. Okay, so now you see that I had to do split. And this is not the first time I'm doing it. I'm showing you split second time. So short-term notes payable and interest expense. One is to pay a liability and one is to recognize the expense. You do not put the 1125 in one shot because then it will be, both reports will be wrong. Your balance sheet will be wrong and your income statement will be wrong. When I say to split, you must split. Split to 2 accounts. Save and new. I think that's it really. Save and close, let me see. I think we're done with the checks. Yeah, so we did check 101, 102, 103, 104. Okay, I wasn't so careful with the date, but that could be changed, so I'll show you how I change it. I could do it also from here, from the bank check register. Any changes that you did, it's on the regular checking, everything is over there. So if I want to be check 104 to be January 30th, I just change the date and I press record. Okay, so if this is on January 8th, I'm putting January 8th. I wasn't so careful, but as long as they're all on the same date, same month, you're fine. Anybody who's still working on QuickBooks Online, make sure to use the same year, 2021. Then you get a profit and loss for 2021. That will be perfect. Okay, so we did a few checks. We started with 20,000. We reduced it by these 4 checks. We have 16,775. Now the last part is to continue with the deposit. So we're sharing the, I'm sharing again, Microsoft Word. Okay, so here it's saying that you received a check from both partners to increase their equity by 2,000 each and deposit it on January 30th. So the total deposit is 4,000. And the next one is another deposit for 3,150 on January 31st. Okay, so we have 2 deposits to do. Okay, so I'm going back to the home screen. You could do it on this screen as well. If you're comfortable with that, fine. Otherwise, click on record deposit. Record deposit. So make sure that it's not going to the wrong account. Look what happened right now. It went to another asset called prepaid advertising. And if you're careless, you will never find your money. So you have to be in regular checking. That should be set as default. Setting default account is a good idea. You say, okay, I'll show you what I mean as default. Edit preferences, checking. And you have company preference and my preference. So really all of them should say regular checking. This is setting default, that we're using regular checking, not prepaid advertising. Regular checking. So checking, set up regular checking for write checks, pay bills, all of them. Then you say, okay, even though you don't need it yet. So regular checking is correct. We're putting the money in regular checking. The date is January 30th. And we got the money from 2 partners. So Mike and Ike. We have them as partner 1 and partner 2. So if you memorize it by account number, 31,000 and 31,200, that's great. Like this, Mike and Ike. If you want to write Mike, I don't know, his name is Ike Chen, let's say. I press enter and a quick add. He is other because he's the owner. Investment by owner. So he's giving $2,000. And the next guy is giving $2,000. Each one increased their investment. I want to write their name, no problem. He's the other. Quick add, this time not vendor, as owner. Owner is other. Investment by owner. Okay, so each one gave the money. It could be cash, it could be check, whatever it is. In here, you could choose whichever one. If it's cash, if it's checks, okay, you would have that. So the total deposit here is $4,000. You have a total deposit, save and new. And now a different deposit, this time is from consulting income. I made from cash customer. Okay, I don't know who it paid me, but cash for consulting services. That I provided. And amount is, first of all, it's cash. So amount is $3,150. Okay, that's a complete deposit. Cash customer, consulting income, and so on. How is it different, this one than the other one? What's the difference between the two? Let's look. First deposit comes up as a split because it's 2 different partners, but that's not the answer. When I click on split, I see that it says investment by owner, capital, capital. Does this affect your income statement? Does this 4,000 go to the income statement? Anybody wants to respond? Does a 4,000 deposit of investment by owner go to the income statement or it goes to the balance sheet?
It should go to the
Balance
balance.
sheet.
Correct, balance sheet.
Oh,
Very
balance.
good.
Sorry.
Yes, it's only on the balance sheet. What about the next one? When I wrote 3150, consulting income.
It
That
goes
would be
to income
the
statement.
income statement.
Income statement only,
Income
correct.
statement.
That's, profit and loss is the right answer for us because it's in QuickBooks. So we just created the profit and loss. When we just did all these entries, we created the profit and loss. You go to report, profit and loss, and you will have already a profit and loss of 3150 income minus all the expenses. And we even have net income of 925. So we spend 2225 and we have 925 in net ordinary income. Okay, if we finished it, but I'm not sure we finished. So let's check again the Word document. Okay, so we finished deposits. We did both deposits. And the last part is bank reconciliation, which is chapter 4. So if you missed chapter 4, this is not a good example to teach bank reconciliation. It just tells you that a deposit total is 4,000, 3225 is in check, and you have the total 20,750 according to the bank. Okay, so what happened at the bank is the bank took from me a service of $25. Okay, so I need to remember to type 20,750 and try to match it. Okay, so I go back to QuickBooks, home screen. Bank reconciliation is over here. Okay, reconcile, banking reconcile. And I'm typing 20,750 as of 01, same date that I saw, 31/2020. Okay, so we have 20,750 and we got a service charge. See how careful you have to be with dates? Because don't accept the 831 because he knows that we're in September and he thinks you're doing August bank reconciliation. But we're going back to January. So we need all the way back beginning of the year. 01/31/2020, the end of that month of January. $25 bank service is the fee. So we're choosing bank service charges. If you're not clear, just read what type of an account it is. It's debit to an expense and it's crediting from regular checking. So bank service charge is the only correct account. Some people take over here miscellaneous account or something like that, but it's not right. If you have bank service charges, just accept that. Okay, so we have 20,750, $25 service charge, and I'm gonna press continue. Okay, so now I'm going back with what they said, what shows on the bank statement, what doesn't. Again, it's just to read. Okay, it says all show on the bank statement except the last deposit because it's a deposit in transit. What does it mean? It means the last deposit you probably put in the bank, but too late. So this one, 3150, originally was on January 31. So it's probably going to be on the next statement. It will be on February statement because you put it in the bank after the printing of this statement. So I'm making a check mark on one, on deposit for 4,000, and the check mark for all these checks that were paid, all four. And you see here's the total, 3,225 and 4,000, like on my paper. And it comes out to the difference is zero. Everything is perfect. So 20,750 equals to 20,750. And I reconcile now. You only reconcile when you have a difference of zero. And then you display it. And you can export it to Excel. You could do many things in this. Okay, so this is the checks that were cleared. Every check will have this box now cleared. And the same thing here. See, even this bank service charge cleared. Okay, so we just finished it up. Now I don't have
Cái này em mới nghe qua là thế nào suy nghĩ.
any questions now? Okay, so now let me see the chat. How did I get to this screen? Okay, I got to the screen from the home screen. Okay, let me close everything. Bank reconciliation is over here, banking. The check, first I usually go to the check register before I reconcile to show you that it disagree. It's not 20,750. I'm close, I'm 20,775, but the $25 service charge is done. And the 3150 is physically in the bank, but not on the statement. That's a deposit in transit. The deposit is on the way. And you have this balance that in my book is 23,900. But according to the bank, it's 20,750. So we did make it agree by doing bank reconciliation over here, reconcile, and then you're typing it in. Now it's ready already for February. I can't do it again. But that's what reconcile is all about. You click on banking, reconcile. Or from up here, banking and reconcile. Same screen. Okay, so now we're ready to check our work. If you answered me before, what is your net income? The answer is wrong. The correct answer is 900. And the date should be 1/1/2020. Okay, then put another 0. And it's until 01/31/2020. Okay, so now you'll see that it's 900. So profit and loss is 3150 minus all the expenses. Make sure you see the bank charges expense in here. That means you did bank reconciliation and your correct answer is 900. Net income is 900. Now this net income of 900 goes to the balance sheet, increasing the equity to owners. They will have to split 450, 450. That's technically what happened in this month. So if I go to reports, company financial balance sheet, the date should be 1/31, it's the end of the month, 2020. I have an extra 0 there. Okay. And you have a total of 30,900. Let me show you equity. 7,000 increase, that's a 7,000 because there was 5 and 5 plus 2 and 2. So it's 14,000 already. And 900 is the net income. So the correct answer is 14,900 in equity. All the equity together. And that's the example that you'll have to copy to connect. So I can ask in connect, what is your total equity? Which is this line, total equity. And your answer would be 14,900. Or I can ask, what is your fixed assets? Fixed asset, you will have to say 4,500. Computer equipment. That's the fixed asset. Other examples like what is short-term notes payable? Because we started at 17, we paid 1,000, the correct answer is 16. So by showing me that you're copying the right answers, it means you did the whole exam. The exam is not very long and only maybe 8 or 9 questions on Connect, meaning 8 little parts, very basic. 8 accounts and tell me what's the amount. How much is net income, how much is gross income, and they're different. Okay, so to be able to answer. So we're gonna continue practicing like this. Okay, so Abram Harris, I don't know if I answered you about how did you get to that screen? Again, I don't know which screen you're referring to, but everything I showed was under record deposit, write checks, check register, or reconcile. Everything under banking. Those chapter 3 and 4. So it's really chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, got it, very good. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're practicing 1, 2, 3, and 4 before the midterm, you'll be doing fine. If you didn't do any homework until after the midterm, that's really like shooting yourself in the leg. That's a big mistake. Okay, so you have to practice and practice. This is not related to Excel prep. Excel prep is VLOOKUP and things like that I was teaching that you have to watch Zoom and do those. But it's not related. This is just QuickBooks test. So the midterm is on QuickBooks only. Okay, so today I was teaching partnership. Next time we're gonna practice with sole proprietorship. And I might do a different one on Tuesday that I will do only QuickBooks Online. Okay, so we're done for today. Thank you for joining. Take care. I just stopped recording.